Hello and welcome to the Great British Mickey Waffle Show for the 1st of July 2025. We are dashing through the year and summer is finally here, and in true Phineas and Ferb style, I know what we're going to do this summer. Whilst thoughts turn to very rapidly approaching trips to Orlando and all the things Universal, Epic, Disney, we are going to continue our little wander around World Showcase today. So sit back, grab a snack, because food will most definitely be a feature, and take some notes for when you next visit EPCOT Centre.
Now my wheels in motion and my windows open with the wind blowing in my hair. I'm driving down the highway, gonna do this my way. I can feel it in the air. Here I
For any new listeners, I'm Claire, and today I will be waving my little tour group flag up in the air and donning the virtual plaid of a tour guide to help us navigate our way around the EPCOT promenade. And we'll see how far we get. I can't do it alone. As ever, there's a team to help. So we've got Becca and John and Robin. How are you all today?
Good. Yeah, good. Thanks. Enjoying the sunshine.
Yeah.
I just got this tour group thing and Brazilian going on in my head. I can't.
I very beg your pardon, John. Is
I
that how we're starting?
just-
I thought you were walking
it's
strangely.
it's just exactly where my thought process leads already. That's before we start this show.
Oh, lowering the tone. Put you on the naughty
we
step.
mean to go on.
Absolutely.
I always said that being one of the tour guides would be like one of the best jobs, being one of the VIP tour guides in the plaid. I mean, the plaid itself.
Yeah.
At least they don't have to wear the hats anymore, do they? Or-
No.
They do still have a whip, I think.
I'll have
Do
an
they
umbrella.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if they have whips in Walt Disney World. I think they might still have them at Disneyland, though.
Yeah,
Ah,
there you are. Who knew? Yes. So, coincidentally, in just a few days, our friends in the United States of America will be celebrating Independence Day. So, what better place for us to start our little tour group today than the American Adventure Pavilion? So, in the last show, we got as far as Italy. So, now we're going to step across the Atlantic over to the American Adventure. So, USA Pavilion, American Adventure. I don't know why it's called the American Adventure rather than United States of America. Number one, because all the other countries have got their name and that one hasn't.
Yeah.
So that always confuses me. And I've not been
I
able
just
to
always
get it right.
assumed that was what the show was called. And people just called it after, named it after the show.
I don't know. The pavilion's definitely called the American Adventure.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, I was like you, Becca. I just assumed. I always just call it America. Head over to
Yeah.
America.
Oh, that's
And then
Oxford.
I wonder, is it maybe it's possibly just a way of actually determining a proper name for it, as opposed to it just being
Oh,
America on the loop round if
Yeah,
you're American, and maybe trying to get Americans to actually stop there, because that might actually be an issue. We're trying to make it appealing to the American market, maybe.
I think that's a weird thing about World Showcase, isn't it? I mean, I remember going to the UK Pavilion those times going, oh, this is, why would I go here? I'm from the UK. Why do I want? See, I quite like going to the UK Pavilion now. And I wonder if other people from around the world, do you go to your pavilion and be proud of it? Or do you go and go, oh, this is a bit dodgy? I don't know. Laugh at the price of Quality Street and all of that. That's
Or discuss the UK Pavilion a bit more next time.
Yeah.
But I tend to go there and think, it's a lot cleaner than home.
yeah, well, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, America is massive pavilion and it's bigger than all of the others, obviously.
Of course. Yeah.
And although the building, which is White House-esque, actually is 5 stories high. It's forced perspective. It makes it look like it's only 2 stories to make it historically accurate. So it is a huge building.
Oh, didn't know that. Oh.
It's really big. And it is central to the lagoon. If you're coming in if you're coming up past Spaceship Earth and you walk directly up to port of entry, it sits bang opposite, directly opposite the entrance to World Showcase. So it is in your sight line as soon as you walk out round the back of World Celebration. So yeah, it's a big pavilion in terms of width as well. It goes sideways in both directions a long way. Part of that's because it's got the huge theatre at the front. So it's got the American Gardens Theatre at the front.
Yeah.
Which is
Yes.
obviously on the lagoon side, that is used for all the festivals.
All of them. Yep.
All
Yeah.
festivals, but has you know, I'm trying to work out. I think last time I was there, I was trying to work out how many people it seats. It must seat around 4,000 people.
It fits a lot of people in there.
It swallows up a lot of people.
Yeah.
It does. A lot of people.
Much bigger than I think you realise because it's benches, it's not individual seats and stuff. And,
Yeah.
and they use that for, and they have amazing bands that play there and amazing acts. And then, at Christmas, you've got the Spangle processional, the candlelight processional that happens every night, 3 times a night.
Yeah.
And it's a well-used theatre, I think. They make a good stab at using it almost every day. It's just those short periods in between festivals when perhaps it's not used quite so much.
Yeah, I feel like the period we're in at the moment is the longest time it ever goes without a festival, Epcot. After Flower and Garden, the 4th of July starts. So I'd love to see it used a bit more during those in-between festivals for things, but I'm not sure what they would do.
No. I think they've had Barbie there in the past. So I'm not sure that's
The other
on the
year-
cards again.
The other year they did a Guardians of the Galaxy show on
Oh,
there.
yeah.
You see, that doesn't really fit in World Showcase for me. So they've got the Liberty Theatre, which is the big building at the back, and that houses the American Adventure Show.
Best place for a nap in Epcot.
I've seen it once.
Ooh, that there might be another pavilion that's got also a great theatre with comfortable seating that would rival it. But I think the American Adventure Show is longer, so you get a decent nap.
You get a good nap in there. And they've got great air conditioning, really high quality air conditioning, comfy seats. That's what I'm looking for. Comfy seat, cool, and it's long so I can have a good nap.
It's actually a really good show. 28
It
minutes
is.
long.
28.
It's not a bad show, and it teaches a lot of history of America that I don't think necessarily, certainly us as Brits, know all of it. We might know some of it, but yeah, it is interesting. But it's also a great place to nap.
I think sometimes I'm very aware I can feel a bit uncomfortable being British in that show because there are times within it where we don't come out very well. The representation of the British is not always the kindest. And, there is a little bit of, Hamilton-esque King George moments. All of that. I don't always feel like I want to open my mouth and speak afterwards. But, it's quite an interesting show if you don't know much about American history. You can
See, I think
learn
this fits
something.
this fits in perfectly with like the 4th of July and Independence Day as well. I think that I think our timing of this is absolutely perfect because actually, it is the reason why Independence Day is celebrated so wonderfully in the United States. But the actual show itself deals, I think, brilliantly with all parts of American history and actually taking you back to, prior to them being invaded by everyone under the sun, not just the British, the Portuguese and the Spanish and things like that, but then how the nation actually evolved. And, if you're a person who sort of reads widely and you've read some of John Steinbeck's stuff when they're talking about the time in the Great Depression, it really, it takes you right back to the Grapes of Wrath and just how Steinbeck actually painted a picture on which they're depicted in front of you within the theatre. It's one of those things that really fascinates me. I do like a bit of history, and this is one show that I really do feel that it does justice to, to the history. But you need to be open to a lot of the other things prior to the film, and also in the actual theatre itself. The theatre the theatre. I did do a little bit of research on this. I didn't find out what the one outside was. You can actually fit 1,024 people into each show. It isn't ever
Wow.
quite as it's not quite ever quite as busy as that. So
I
thankfully,
don't know, on a hot
Wow.
day in August, it gets quite busy.
Does,
I
it
don't know.
does, yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes my eyes are sagging slightly so I don't get a chance to look round. But it's an enormous place, and you actually think as actual theatre they could use it
Huge.
for so many other
Yeah.
different like presentational awards, etc. And even if you look at some of the statues within the theatre, they're all there for a reason, and they've all got different meanings. So whereas you just sort of see, oh, it's a statue of such and such a statue, but actually they're all there to actually
Present
to go
different
through like adventure, compassion, discovery, freedom, and and they've all got a bit of meaning to them. And when you start looking into that, you once again become quite absorbed by how much detail has actually gone into the actual design of this pavilion building alone. I know we've said it about some of the other pavilions already, but in here it's just like it is a richness, and you can tell it's it is a massive respect to America, its history, and then also the people who've been really quite a massive part of that history. I must admit they could do with updating the end of the film a little bit, if only just to get rid of Lance Armstrong from that end sequence. And being a cycling fan, that I can understand why he was there in the first place, but actually I would just get the scissors and let's just cut that out and let's pretend it doesn't happen, and let's have more Tiger Woods. I think probably would be a better way of doing it.
Yeah,
you can also add in some newer ones as well at that point. Just add in some more relevant nowadays.
Yeah.
I do always come up. We jest about the show and we take the Mickey out of it as Brits, but I do always come away feeling very inspired by the ambition of the American people and what they overcame and what they strive to achieve as a nation. I think for all the right reasons, it feels it's a really lovely feel good show, and I can understand why people really, really enjoy going to see it. And to do something like that would be far too dour about it and negative. Just be about rain and grey skies. It'd be miserable. Whereas I think we celebrate ourselves as much. So I think for all the right reasons, I do actually quite enjoy it. Apart from Lance Armstrong is one issue. The other issue, a massive issue I have with this, is that they claim Alexander Graham Bell as an American. He is not. He was born in Edinburgh.
I was going to say,
I do have an issue.
wasn't it?
Yeah, he's definitely Scottish. And I do have a slight issue about that. That's the one thing that always grates on me when I watch it. I'm just like, he is not American. But we'll gloss over that. We'll be the bigger person. But I do, the whole theatre is a really interesting experience because you go in and at the bottom they've got the on the right hand side when you're walking, you've got the American Heritage Gallery, and I think people go in there probably while they're waiting to watch the show or something else that happens down in the rotunda that we'll talk about in a minute, I'm sure. But that Heritage Gallery is fascinating when you look. I remember going with Mills, and we probably spent about 45 minutes just in that area. There's like 40 different Native American tribes represented, and so many fascinating bits about Native American culture and artifacts and things that you just wouldn't come across otherwise, as certainly not as a tourist in Florida. So I think for all the good reasons, that's a fascinating area to spend some time in.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not sure I've ever been in that bit, I'm going to be honest.
But you might do it better because even just spend 10 minutes, it's really interesting.
Yeah. It was the one time that we've actually done the show, we walked straight in, and the only other time we really go in there is to listen to Voices of Liberty.
Oh, nice segue.
There you go. So make sure you do.
I'm learning.
On the walls around the whole place, there is so many amazing bits of either historical facts and pictures, artwork, just stories about the country. I love going and just exploring because, again, if you talk about the music, I'll put a little bit as you're going up the stairs towards the theatre. you actually get to see how the American flag has changed throughout the years. You get to see how there is all around you. Look for the detail, and especially above you with the flags.
Yeah.
And then when you're waiting to go into the theatre, there's another kind of holding area. And yeah, it feels very theatre-esque, but there's still loads to see and loads to actually absorb.
Yeah.
And you would miss it. Again, it's just one of them places that you just think, oh, it's a theatre. That's just part, it's that's part of the surroundings. That's fine. But it's all there for a reason. It's all there, again, to give you that little bit more of the history of the country.
Yeah. And the music that comes at the end of the American Adventure show, Golden Dream. I mean, that is a classic EPCOT anthem.
Oh,
Many a day do I sing that in my car. It's beautiful.
Oh, it's wonderful.
And the other thing is downstairs, you've got the sort of heritage gallery on one side, and then around the walls of the downstairs on the ground floor, first floor, if you're American, they have a variety of different exhibitions that change. So they did have one about when Soul first came out. They had some beautiful jazz artwork around there and characters from Soul. The current exhibition, when I was there a couple of months ago, Robin, did you see it? It's portraits that were painted by George W. Bush.
I have to say, I didn't notice.
Oh, they are interesting. I don't know how long that's going to be there.
Is he a very good artist?
Whether he's an artist or not, I don't know. But it kind of, when the kids do like pictures of themselves to go on the Christmas tea towel at school.
Yeah.
Yep.
And every child draws like a self-portrait, and they're
terrible.
If it's your child, you'll recognise it's your child who's drawn that picture. These paintings were a little on that scale. I'm sure that he spent lots of money doing it.
Art is subjective.
Yes.
I'd never had him down as being an artist, so that'd be...
You still wouldn't.
Brilliant.
Oops. That's me not liking it. But by far and wide, the most important thing for me that ever happens in the American Adventure Pavilion happens in that rotunda downstairs in that building. That beautiful rotunda with the glass ceiling and the red circle on the floor. Sit on the floor, people, without a doubt. Sit on the floor, because Voices of Liberty are, without a doubt, one of the best entertainment moments you could ever see in Walt Disney World. And I will now make a point of going on my last day every time. It has to be the last thing I do before I leave.
Yeah. It's one of my favourite things to do in Epcot and in Disney is to go watch them sing. I don't sit on the floor on the red dot, because otherwise you need to get a forklift in to lift me up. So I tend to sit on a bench.
There's an embarrassing moment at the end of when they finish singing that they're brilliant. They do walk around and offer a hand to people to try and help them get up, which is, by that point, my feet have gone to sleep. And I'm just like, I'll be up in a minute and try and do it with some sort of dignity. It's like getting out of space, man. The game is to sit next to someone older than you. So, and then you don't look quite so decrepit when you're trying to stand up.
That's why you sat next to me last year, wasn't it?
Between you and I sat next to Jason last time.
There you go. That's it.
I was going to say, I'll sit next to you, Claire, we're fine.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sit next to me, and you definitely won't. You'll definitely look fine getting up. I'm much like you. Sit down for too long on the floor, and my feet go numb.
Yeah. Me too.
The one thing to bear in mind as well is after the show, and once they finish singing, don't just disappear quickly, because they will come and chat. They will linger, and you can actually go and have a chat to them. And they are absolutely amazing singers. And actually, once you get rid of the whole being in awe of the voices, they're just brilliant people, and they're a really good. They're just beautiful people to have a chat with, and again, talking about music. I like talking about music anyway, but it's a different form of music, and the actual acoustics within that whole are just incredible. I go from a bit where you go in, I start taking pictures of the roof of the place before the singing even begins, and then you're still halfway through the show, you're still looking around and you're thinking, just the actual sound quality is just so uniquely special.
Yeah.
It really is amazing.
The acoustic just pings around us. It's stunning, and I almost feel sad when they do not that they sing badly. I don't think any of them sing a bad note ever, but when they do candlelight processional, they're mic'd up on the Christmas tree. I think that almost doesn't do them justice, because the beauty of that ensemble is how their voices blend, and I'm sure that they spend a lot of time practicing that to get that so perfect. And the acoustic off the rotunda helps that, and they can hear each other. And I just I feel it isn't the same when they don't need mics. They just need to be in the right acoustic. And I think they could probably sing in a dustbin and they'd sound amazing. But
Yeah. Yeah, I think the secret's definitely out now. It used to be that you'd go in and be like, oh, they're singing. This is a group of people singing on the way into American Adventure, the show. And now
it's a
lot of
thing.
people, it's a thing.
Thank
And obviously,
goodness.
if you go at Christmas, you're lucky and you can get a double set. So they sing in front of you and then they appear on the balcony above, which is very special.
Don't like the new costumes. Just saying.
They're better than the blues, though, right?
I can't even remember
No,
what
I
their
quite
new
like the
costumes
blue,
are.
and I quite like the blue. It was
Yeah.
slightly less formal. No.
I like the Christmas outfits.
Dickensian.
Yeah, it feels
Um,
very Christmassy. So
yeah, but yeah, I'm not a fan of the new costumes. I like the old ones, the original sort of Victorian dresses that they wore. They were awesome, and suits. But times change. New costumes for all, But I am in awe of them every time, and they always make me cry.
Yeah, me too. Every time. You just look over at me and I'm like, it's fine. Just ignore
So
me.
yeah, just and I know they've had loads of new members recently, and lots of different faces from compared to a couple of years ago, and it's amazing. The turnover is so. It's not actually very fast for a group like that, and they work
No.
really hard. So absolute shout out to them, and I think they're amazing. I would sit there every day and listen to them if I could.
It's always nice for me if I see the odd Dapper Dan pop up in there. I'm always
So
like,
that's.
I know you.
I think I've got a bit of a thing for the Dapper Dans. I've decided, because I just have to see them. If I don't see them, I'm a very, very sad person. I sort of chase them around a little bit. So we've covered the theatre and the gallery and Voices of Liberty and the Hall of Flags. What about? I mean, there is a store there. They've got the Art of Disney store, which is sort of attached to the side of the theatre. I don't think it's a great thing.
I don't either.
no, they've
I don't
moved
even-
it from where it
Yeah.
used to be.
It doesn't have a lot on offer either. So it's not even.
And that's the only store in the whole pavilion. I find it odd. It must have been a conscious decision not to have lots of shopping. I don't really know why.
Yeah. I mean, they often have booths nearer the lagoon, not just for the festivals, but they're often open selling random sort of stuff. Sometimes it's the weird dolls, and they often have things for sale nearer the lagoon.
I think you're right, though, Claire. You're onto something here. As a shop, I don't feel it's kept as up to date as it perhaps used to be. And there used to be some really original and some really quite unique gifts that merchandise that you could buy going back about 10 years, and it was always worth looking to see what you could pick up there. And now I just think it's become.
They didn't even go in.
It's kind of it's not worth looking, because it's not even. They haven't got the good stuff that you see from Connections or Creations, whatever it is, Mouse Gear. But it just seems like I'm trying not to use the word. It's like a tacky gift shop that you'd find over in the UK.
An afterthought.
Yeah,
It's just an afterthought.
when you think about the pride of the country and the feeling that you get stoked up when you're listening to even someone from the UK, when you hear the American national anthem, I find it quite the most moving thing to be part of, and the respect that Americans show for their flag and their national anthem, I just find just awe-inspiring. I really do. I know I said this on the show before, and I really feel that as you come out, you've got every British person coming out of that theatre should be going into the shop and saying, "Look, I want something American that I can take home with me."
Yeah.
And it hasn't got that, and I think it really disappoints me.
I feel they're missing a trick there. Like,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of the other countries have things that, like, I'm not from Italy. I might buy something from Italy. Or if you are
Yeah.
from Italy, you might buy something from Italy.
Yeah.
Why is America, why don't they have that
I
same?
think I wonder if it's partly because it's in America. So in a lot of the other countries, you'll be able to get foodstuffs, for example, from those countries. There is no point in them selling American foodstuffs in Disney when you can go 10 minutes down the road to Walmart.
Yeah, but who's going to do that? If you haven't got a car and you're staying on property and you're an international visitor, you might want to buy a finger bar or whatever it is. I think you could totally do
Or
something.
Mickey and Minnie in wearing something patriotic American.
Yeah.
I think,
It's odd.
yeah, I definitely think they're missing a trick.
If you're American and you're listening to this and
Yeah.
actually you know the answer to that question, get in touch with us through the Wafflers Arms on Facebook, because we are genuinely intrigued, because there might well be a proper reason for it, and we might be missing something purely from a cultural point of view.
Maybe so. I mean, something that is over in that area, you've got the EPCOT stop just outside that shop, but you've also got two of the greatest things in all of World Showcase. You've got, you know exactly where I'm going with
Are
this.
we going to the toilet, Claire?
The bathrooms in the American Pavilion are fantastic. If you need to go, that's the place to go.
Yes.
They're huge. I mean,
They're cold, which is great because they've got.
is this where you were
great
going a
air
minute
conditioning.
ago? Is this where you were going to lead us to?
I might have been leading you to the bathroom a minute ago, but let's not. Yes,
not-
I was.
But they're really big. I don't know about the gents. I've never been in there. But the ladies,
They're
they're huge.
Quality.
They're clean.
But all bathrooms are clean in Disney, pretty much. I
Well,
really
not
it.
all of them.
I
Let's be
mean,
honest.
have you
most.
been to tangled bathrooms after, say, like 5 p.m? I'm not sure I have that same opinion.
But they are massive, and there's never ever a queue. Whereas if you go back to Germany, there's always a queue. So just hold on for another 2 countries and across the Atlantic.
Yeah, I totally agree. They're probably my favourite bathrooms in a Disney park. Those ones, because they're.
I mean, that's a show.
Ooh.
I know, right?
That has been a show in itself, I'll be
I
honest.
need to do though, because it's quite a long time ago.
Yeah, we've been holding it in for far too long. That's
And there are new bathrooms since then, so maybe
Yeah, this is
I
true.
think we do need to revisit that particular topic. But the other thing that's really good over there are the picnic benches that are undercover, so they're in the shade,
Yes.
and they're the place that people wait for the people using the bathrooms. But they are actually quite a number of them. There's probably 15 picnic benches, and they're quite a good place just to have a hangout in the shade.
I mean, if there's a festival on, there's usually people sat eating stuff that they picked up from the festival booth there.
Yeah,
Because if there's a festival, there's always food, even if it is whether it's the food and wine one or not.
yeah. But I mean, I think there's quite the food in the American Pavilion it has changed. I mean, they've got the Joffrey's as you're walking around from Italy. You've got the Joffrey's cart, which is not a cart because it's there all the time. And they do a lot of pastries and quite a lot of different snacks at that particular Joffrey's cart. They also do a fantastic Bailey's drink of some kind that Zach bought me once when we were watching Candlelight Processional. It was a bit like a espresso martini, but made with Bailey's. Very nice.
Right.
It was quite strong. It was very good. It made the
nice.
Candlelight Processional go very well.
it.
He went off to get himself a coffee and brought that back for me. I was like, oh, thank you very much. Don't mind if I do. But then you've also got the crumbs, what's it called? The Regal Eagle Smokehouse.
Yeah.
So that changed pre-COVID.
I think it
was before.
But it's also got the outdoor smoker, which if it's on, kind of like takes this great big cloud of smell and smoke over the whole left-hand side of the pavilion.
Yeah.
But it smells like, barbecue. It smells really Not,
It's
I
yeah.
don't mind the smell of it. I just don't really want my hair to smell of it for the rest of the day. So I wouldn't hang out there. And you've got the outdoor window. What's that? Fife and drum, which is where they do
Yeah,
the-
and
turkey legs and is that the
I'm
turkey
sure they've
legs?
got, yes, they do turkey legs there, but they've got something new there, and I forget because I put it on my list of I want to eat it next time I'm
pretzel
there.
bites.
That's the one, pretzel bite
and
with a beer
bite.
cheese.
That's it's
I'm
the
sure-
famous
Um,
one that the ones that they have at the
there's a Block and
Mm.
Pounds little booth in that stretch as well, isn't it? That do pretzels as well. I'm more thinking of the beer. You know, I'm a great advocate of when in America, drink American, and they do a cracking beer flight to go and sit just in that nice shaded area at the back, Claire. And I must admit that comes highly recommended, especially if you're looking at they do some very special local brews as well. So that, you know, it can either be from, I think there's the Orlando Brewing, they do a blonde ale from there, and then the Tampa Brewery,
yeah
which
they
I really appreciate that, because
yeah
I really think that that's such a nice thing that even despite the fact that anywhere you go on site that you go for a soft drink, it has to be Coca-Cola and it has to be Dasani water. At least when you want to go and have a beer, they're actually supporting local breweries as well, which is good, because actually it offers something different that you certainly don't get a chance of when you go to the supermarket.
Where is it that does that drink that everybody raves about? It's a specialty alcoholic drink. I think it might be, it's either Regal Eagle or Fife and Drum. I'm just trying to remember. It's some strange version of a old fashioned of some kind, I think.
I
And
think you've lost me there.
Yeah,
haven't
it's
heard
not
of
my
that one.
there's always a
go-to
massive
drinks.
queue to get a drink, and I'm just trying to scroll to find it, but someone will know. But yeah, it's like a sour cherry on the top of it. It's got whiskey in it, so I would never drink it. That's just
Yeah.
why I don't know what it's called.
There you go,
Um,
that's the one.
Has everyone actually eaten in the smokehouse there?
No.
Yeah, I have a couple of times.
Yeah, we've eaten there a few times. Have you, John?
No, we haven't.
No,
That's
after-
purely from a timing thing, and also I think there's that many opportunities to eat in different places around Epcot. It
Yeah.
keeps getting kicked off the list because we keep thinking, I want to go somewhere else, and we might come to that very shortly.
I
I
always
have to
find
say, yeah. Oh, sorry, Becca.
I always find it a bit underwhelming.
Oh, do
Do you?
you?
Yeah,
Oh,
just
I have to
know
say,
what?
I usually enjoy it. But though saying that, the last time there, I think we kind of all went, oh, it was all right. It was nothing super special.
Yeah.
However, it's definitely an upgrade from the old place where
Oh.
it was just burgers and hot dogs.
Nuggets.
And yeah, it was basically
Yeah.
like Electric Umbrella, but in America.
Yeah, I thought
It was the
felt
same food.
Yeah, I felt it previously had a feel of a McDonald's sort of
Yeah.
restaurant about it, and by putting the smoker out at the front, I think was a very significant way of saying, "Look, this is different. This is, it's like having Gordon Ramsay in to do an overhaul of your kitchen. Give people the thought that everything's changed. We'll put the smoker out the front, and everyone will believe that it's a proper barbecue experience and things like that. And I think that for me is where they've done it very well in just changing people's mindset around into it actually being a place that it's certainly a step up from where it was.
Yeah. The mac and cheese is usually pretty good there, if nothing
Oh, is it?
else.
Oh,
Yeah, I will agree with that. Mac and cheese is quite nice.
Okay.
I'll add that to my list. That's good.
You can't
Do you
dress
like
up
a
mac
bit of
and
mac and-
cheese though.
Oh, you
Oh,
can.
you
Oh,
definitely can.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, but that's when you know that somewhere is not good if they don't sell good mac and cheese.
There's
And
plenty
then-
of that round Disney.
Yeah. And then as you walk down towards you're walking out of America, you've also got the funnel cake stand that is there on the left-hand side with normal funnel cake and speciality funnel cakes that they have for all the festivals, if you like funnel cake.
Which it has its own very unique smell. That's all
does.
I'm going to say. It's that, yeah. I'm not a great lover of funnel cake purely because of the greasy smell.
It's deep fried and dough, so I'm kind of
Yeah.
already all about it.
Yeah.
I quite like funnel cake, but I haven't had
I-
one in years.
It usually goes a few years in between funnel cakes for me, and
Was to give
again,
you
I'll get
arteries time to
yeah,
Yeah,
recover.
yeah.
May your
I don't think
cholesterol
mine
come
was
down
super
a
hollow in
little, and
United
then
Kingdom anyway.
Yeah.
3 years of statins in between.
Yeah,
each
there we
one.
go. Usually, do you know what? I think it probably is about 3 years in between.
Yeah.
And then you always get one to share. No, you can't. I mean, I would never eat. I can't eat a whole one of those. You always get one, share it between a few of you.
The
So you've
fact
had a
that you-
couple of bites.
I love the
And then
fact that
you're
it
done.
takes you 3 years to forget how disgusting it is, and then you have another one, and then you go, "Oh no, I remember why we did
Yeah.
that one last time we were here."
I think the last time I had one was pre-COVID.
Oh, no, I've definitely had one since then.
You're certainly
likely.
thinking now. I must be at least 10 years since I've funnel cake.
Oh, John, you
then-
need a reminder. You need to have
I'm
one.
not
again.
sure
Yeah.
if I do.
Feel
I'm not sure if I
healthier
do.
for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I might, maybe I should get that on my t-shirt. Yeah. I'm drinking around the world, but hey, I'm not eating funnel cake, so I'm healthier for it.
Where the funnel cake stand is though, it's always like a toss up what you fancy to have, because
Yeah.
there's the funnel cake stand, and then before you know it, you're in Japan and you can have a shave ice.
Yeah.
Shave
So
ice.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a
yeah.
fan of shaved ice.
I quite like a shave ice, but I don't like. I've had it from there, and I found the flavors very, very fake kind of flavoring rather than natural. So I
just
wasn't a fan.
Found it too big a portion.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like a slush, isn't it? It's like having a slush as a kid. I
It's
was
like
never got
having a
away with-
lolly, an ice lolly that someone's like
I-
mushed up.
and
Do you
then
know
you get
what?
brain freeze.
Yeah. It's like having your own Mr. Frosty. I never got a Mr. Frosty. I asked for him for Christmas for about 4 years when I was a child. I never got one. So every time
Your pride child, Claire. There you go.
I
this is
know.
it. So now I
Um,
have to make do with a kakigori from the big cafe.
See,
Well, I
Simon would say the same as you, Claire. He always missed out on it, and he still blames his parents. He's never forgiven them.
Oh,
I
never-
was one of the lucky ones
Did
that
you
got
have one?
one. I had one, yeah. They were awful. It was useless. All
Doesn't
that
matter.
happened was the ice used to not go in and turn, and then it would just drip and melt. They were not the one. They
Wow,
looked great on TV. The reality was, this is terrible.
very different. Did you have an a la carte kitchen as well?
I don't think I did. No, I was just desperate for a Mr. Frosty, but no.
We all were. Never one of the lucky ones. So we've made it to Japan. Thank you for driving us onwards in our little trip. And for me, it might be so I say it's my favourite pavilion, but that does change regularly actually. So at the moment it's my favourite pavilion, but give it a couple of weeks, I might have changed my mind again. And every time we've done one of these recordings and we've talked about different pavilions, I'm like, oh, maybe this is my favourite. And they've all got different things, but I absolutely love the Japan Pavilion. And I think there's so many photo opportunities that
Yes.
make it beautiful. In like every way you turn, it's beautiful. You've got the pagoda, which is stunning, and again used by useful perspective to make it look bigger than it is. It's only got 5 stories, 5 tiers, but the blue roofs make it pop against the sky, which makes it easy to photograph. And then you've got the Tory Gate on the other side, where if you can line yourself up nicely, you get Tory Gate, you get Spaceship Earth, and
Yeah.
it looks so good.
several
And at
of
different
those.
times of the day as well. Do that in the evening. Amazing.
Might get some fireworks
hmm
and
Yeah.
some over people's heads, but
It's quite hard to take a bad photo in the Japan Pavilion, I think.
yeah,
I would agree.
I
I would
would.
agree. And it's got the best shot. Out of all the World Showcase, it's definitely got the best shot.
definitely.
Right.
I would agree with that. I love that show.
I love
Mitsubishi?
Mitsukoshi. I love
Mitsukoshi.
Mitsukoshi. I think it's changed though. I think if I think back to what Mitsukoshi was like 10 years ago and what it is now,
Yeah.
it's maybe not quite as good as it was.
I would agree. It doesn't have the variety it used to have. That's for me. There used to be a lot more variety. Now they have a lot of the same thing.
Much more commercial now rather than you used to be able to
Yeah.
go to the bit at the back where the food was, which was bigger. Now
Yeah.
they've got obviously the sake stand and it's taken over a bit more space. And you used to be able to find some like super random stuff. And that's
Yeah.
great. You take them back.
Yeah.
Gifts for people. Here, have some deep fried shrimp or little tiny crabs, or all sorts of weird and wonderful things that didn't have British, English labels on. So you had to kind of guess a little bit as to what you might eat.
Yeah.
It's always games for the whole family can play. But I do like the shop. I love the service in the shop. It's amazing. And, the Japanese cast members who are there are incredible and so perfect all the way through that shop and just so helpful. There are a few classic things in there that everyone knows about. You can go and try on a kimono if you want in the back.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
No, I haven't
No.
because I didn't know.
I'd want to buy it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I didn't know if I didn't know if it was like rude to do it if I've got no intention of buying
and then not
it.
buying it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never tried one on. I've definitely taken them off the hangers and had a proper look, but there's some nice hair clips and stuff.
And then
They have
probably
some
looked
really
at the
nice
price
hair
of
clips.
it.
Yeah,
You look at the price of it and put it back
See,
and you think, no. That's,
exactly. And they've got the funny little bit with the Zen gardens in there, like the little tabletop Zen gardens. Everyone just
Yeah.
it's like raking over the bunker in the golf course at the end of it.
Yeah.
Bloody shot. But they've got some really cool things. I bought a pair of the socks, which are like the toe socks that go with your flip flops. I've got those because they're really cool.
Yeah.
And
Flip flops and socks are not a thing, Claire must have
they are in Japan.
I'm just saying for anyone who's driving and listening to the show and is just about to start arguing with the family, socks and flip flops, definitely not. No.
They are in Japan. You can buy the socks.
Yeah.
We're going to start.
Also, everyone's wearing sliders and socks now.
Right, Crocs and socks.
No, that's
No, I'm with you, John. Just
no, it's not right.
no socks with
Not
sandals, please.
Yeah.
What else
Not
is
good.
there in there? The other thing that I bought in there recently, and I'm a big convert to, is some of their beauty products. So I saw a vlog and where the person was talking about that they do face masks and a number of different beauty products. They're super cheap and they're amazing. So they do a big. I bought a pouch of like the sheet face masks. I think it's like $7.99 or something, and there was about 25 of them. And it's a resealable packet.
Oh,
And
wow.
they're so amazing. Like at the end of a long park day, fantastic, or on an airplane or anything like that, they're brilliant. I would they're heavy. That's the only thing. So you don't buy at the beginning of the day. Super heavy and to carry around. But yeah, I bought quite a few of the beauty products.
I'll have to have a look at them. I've never really looked at the beauty products.
I would never have looked at them either until I watched this vlog and someone was raving about how brilliant they are. So I thought, in for a penny, in for a pound. I'll buy a small packet, and then next time I went back and bought the big packet.
Do they still do the pick a pearl thing?
Yeah, they do.
Yes, I was about to mention that. Has anyone ever bought one of the pearls? Because actually, I think when it's one of them things, you see it in action and you think, wow, what a really brilliant thing. And then because I'm a cynical old person, and then you come to the shop again and the same thing's happening, it's like, oh, you've won it. And it's just like, oh, and you've won one of the big ones. That's going to cost you $30 rather than $20 that the last person had. And it's just like, hang on a minute. This is
And then
For anyone watching on YouTube will be able to see.
spoiler alert.
If you're listening on the podcast, you have to go to YouTube to see. But I'm just holding up.
Claire's got
Are
a
they all
few.
your pearls?
So that is 4. I probably have another 6 upstairs. And actually, I have a
Are
necklace.
they all still in the
I was
plastic
gonna say,
bag?
you could buy a whole necklace, make a whole necklace.
Right, I have a necklace that Dan had made for me.
Yeah.
Which is it's made with the pearls from the Japan Pavilion,
Oh,
and you can actually add them onto it. But these are huge. There's one there's like 8.5. That was the biggest pearl of the day.
There you go. You see.
For that one, and actually I got a grey one, which is a silver one. So
I've just got this vision now, Claire. When they see you walking in the shop, it's like he's back again.
Millie and I always.
Bang that drum a bit louder. Come on, girls. Here we go. We're in for a couple of dollars here. Claire's in the shop.
We used to have this deal when we went into Mitsukoshi because Morgan is a massive, massive Pokemon fan. And obviously in that store, they have tons of Pokemon things. Morgan would always get a Pokemon plush and I would always get a plush. That was the deal. And now it's escalated where Millie doesn't know whether she wants a Pearl or a Pokemon anymore. He also gets one of them.
I'm with Mark.
So it just is one of those things in the Japan Pavilion. It costs a fortune to go in that store every single time.
Does in your house?
Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah.
I've never actually brought anything from in there.
Nothing.
Oh, I have.
No,
Moving on.
No.
Moving on quickly, kids.
I love the
That's it.
shop, but I've never brought anything from in there.
I bought quite a few
I have to
things.
change that
from
this
in
year.
there. Yeah.
They've got loads of things to buy in there. And the books are amazing. If you like anime and you know, all of that stuff, they've got some stick things. They aren't cheap. That's
Yeah,
something that's but you know, I think I could probably spend a lot of money in there if I had an unlimited budget, I would. But often I'm trying to scooch through and get away without spending very much money at all. One of the things that's a bit weird for me about Japan Pavilion, if you stand at the lagoon end and look back at the pavilion, you have to. I'd always forget that there is the entire outline of a fortress.
Yeah.
Because it's actually the closer you get to it, it's really difficult to see. And I never really look at, because I'm tending to be looking to go into Mitsukoshi or I'm going up to the other side. And I tend not to look at the back of the pavilion very much, but actually it's got a beautiful skyline of the fortress.
Yeah, it's really strange actually, because if you go right the way through the shop and then back a bit more and then hook round, do the kid cot stop.
Yeah.
And you actually become aware that you're within the fortress, and
That's
it kind of because you've been in the shop and you haven't had that walk up to it, you kind of
catches you out.
Why is this like it is? And it's only when you walk that little bit further on and then you turn and you look back on it, and you're like, right, and then walk back in. And it's kind of got that drawbridge kind of effect as you're walking into it. And you're like, and again, loads of people might not even know that that's actually there deliberately.
Yes.
But it's a brilliant thing. It is so amazing. I'm not going to insult any Japanese people by trying to even think about why it is done that way. But some of the statues, as you come out the back of the shop and you're walking that way, are very sort of Japanese military, and just has that different sense to the country, and I think tells a whole lot more about the culture and about the people as well. And it's one of them places just to soak it up and see, because it really is different.
I agree, and I think that if you go in, don't go in the front end of Mitsukoshi, go all the way to the back and go in that way at least once. And that it does have a different feel. It feels like you're going in, a little bit of history when you're walking in, rather than going into the front of a really modern department store. So it is a real juxtaposition of a pavilion of like historical stuff and modern stuff. And I guess that is symbolic of Japan as well. So, there is the gallery in there as well, which is the Bijutsu-kan gallery, which at the moment, well, probably for the last 10 years, I think it's had the kawaii display in there. But the smell in that place, I don't know what it is, but it smells awful every single time that I go in there. I mean, we literally walked in and we were just like, I can't stay in here. I don't know what the smell is. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's not good. It's just, it's horror. It's like monorail smell, but worse. I don't know what's going on in there.
Yeah, it's not the best.
Why I've been in for a while then.
Yeah. The last time I went in, I was like, oof, just not staying here for too long. But it's a shame because the stuff in there is really cute.
I know, it's fun to go and have a look at, and I can't stay for long. But it's cool in there. It's in terms of air conditioning. So as you walk towards the back of the pavilion, the other amazing thing that I think we all probably appreciate more than a lot of the other bits of it is the garden area on the left-hand side. So there are koi ponds, waterfalls, bridges, and they've got a whole load of natural, foliage with bamboo and monkey puzzle trees and aces, so Japanese maples. And it's just so beautiful. It looks like this amazing sort of ceremonial garden. And there's lots of little bridges you can cross over and then go round. And I mean, at the top, obviously, the pinnacle of that is the is Katsura Grill is hidden up there, and people
Don't
forget
tell,
that
don't
restaurant's
tell,
even
don't
bigger.
tell, don't tell people about Katsura Grill, Claire. Goodness,
But
they'll all be
I
going.
think that whole area is forgotten. I don't think it's obvious how to access it.
Yeah,
So I
it's
think people
great.
just completely miss it.
It's the
Great.
best spot in the whole of Epcot.
I
And it-
agree.
And actually, you detach yourself. It's one of them, another one of those places on World Showcase where you actually feel completely detached from being in a theme park
Mm-hmm.
and what you kind of find. Even the way that the area is actually designed, you actually don't have any view of Spaceship Earth. You don't have any view of the walkway
No.
around, so you're completely cut off. And you just have the pagoda in front of you. So that kind of offers you a little bit of protection, even if there's a slight breeze. You're not, and sometimes you get a bit of shade as well. But it is absolutely a superb place to just have a little bit of space and time to just chill out. And we tend to always have a beer and then go and just sit up there and just. I don't know. There is something quite spiritual going on when you can listen to the water. You're looking at the koi, and you're just like taken to it. You're taken to a different place. It is beautiful, and I must admit, if you're hungry, then Katsura Grill is definitely it's the top of the list bit, and it's why in the American Pavilion we generally, if we're hungry, we would not stop there and eat.
Keep it walking.
We would
keep
come
going.
next door, and we would always go to Katsura Grill. It kind of beats everywhere in the whole of the park for a quick service.
Quick service.
And it's just,
My top quick service in
it
Epcot.
is, it's brilliant.
It's been years since I've been to that quick service, and I think it's one of those things I just forget to go. Or there's a festival on, and I want to eat festival food. Or
Yeah. We've been the other side of the park at one point, and then it's got to meal time, and then we've had the kids saying, "Well, I tell you, they fancied a bit of Chinese." So we just gave them the money to go and get themselves a quick service in the China Pavilion.
Yeah.
We ended up going to Katsura Grill, and we got the better deal. And we, the food there is absolutely incredible.
It's just-
Can't speak highly enough of it.
I think that's the thing. I absolutely love it there, and there's never been a bad meal. The food is amazing. Service is fantastic. There's not a lot of seating, so if you want to sit inside, it can be a bit of a squish. But there is seating outside, so if it's not.
Anyway.
But if it's not too hot, you can definitely sit outside. I know, not too hot. This is Florida. You can sit outside, and there is a bit of shade.
if you don't go in summer, you can sit outside.
Yeah, and the seats out there, there's plenty of space around them. And as you say, John, there's something about sitting out there, listening to the waterfall. And I know when we talked about China, we talked about the stillness of the ponds outside of the temple. And obviously in Japanese culture, the movement of the water is the thing that brings energy. And I think that if you sit there and just listen, it's just so beautiful. And actually, if you're looking for somewhere to sit at Katsura Grill, or even if you just got a drink, all the way around the outside of the building, under the overhang, there is a bench.
Yeah,
And
now
you can
I
sit-
was going to mention that, Claire. Now, this is a real handy hint and tip, so don't tell everyone. if it's raining at Epcot, that little overhang is one of the best places to just go and get a little bit of shelter. You don't even
And
if you're
a
not,
seat.
even if you're not planning on eating or drinking, you can stay, but you can stay dry, and that's it is so it saves you going into the shop. Another
Spending
one,
money.
if you go to the shop, you can spend the money.
But it also gets really busy in the shop because everyone rushes
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
And actually, that bench, that sort of overhang bench bit that goes all the way around, is such a brilliant. I'm trying to think when it was I was there, and I sat there with a drink, and there was a bunch of Americans came and sat, and we had a nice little chat, sat out there while it rained, and we just hung out for a little while. Or if it's really hot, you can get shade under there as well. So
That's handy too.
Can I just point out to people as well? I know we often talk about food, either on a Wednesday live show or during the podcast as well. We're not actually making this up about this place. If you like your noodles, they do a brilliant beef udon.
Mm.
It's only $15.99.
Yeah.
And
Their
there's also
sushi's really good, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't eat sushi, but my cousin eats a lot of sushi.
Right.
She absolutely rates the sushi from there.
Oh, that's
And
good
I'll
to
rate the
know.
teriyaki chicken and rice.
And yeah, another good. So the sushi combo is only $14, and then the teriyaki chicken is only $14.99.
Chicken cutlet
all-
curry, which is basically your katsu curry.
Yeah.
It's a katsu
Katsu.
curry at $15.99. You would be struggling to find somewhere that's as good a value. And I've just seen that they do a nice soup as well. So that's now on the list for the summer as well.
Again, back on the list.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll never make it to the smokehouse.
No.
No, and that's why. But it's why we end up going back there each and every time. It's just got, if you look at the menu and you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure, just go and give a try to the ones we just mentioned, because actually you won't be disappointed. The food is consistently good. I think it's probably the best way to describe it.
And in terms of the other restaurants, there are quite a few restaurants in Japan. You've got Teppan-Edo. So up the stairs, there's a big staircase on the right-hand side that goes up above Mitsukoshi. And up that staircase, there is Teppan-Edo, which is a teppanyaki restaurant like Benihana or places like that. And you do get sat with people you don't know if you've got a party of less than 8 people sometimes. It is a show. It's a dinner and a show all in one. It's not the cheapest. A lot of people love it. I've had a variety of experiences there. I've had a really good meal. I've also had not a great meal. So I think it can be a little bit hit and miss.
Yeah.
But as a family, if you want to do something that's, a bit of fun, that's a good option. There's if you like the high quality teppanyaki, there's a Benihana just down toward, is it at the B Hotel or one of the hotels near Disney Springs?
I would say Kobe is better than Benihana.
Yeah.
They have to do Kobe's the one in if you're in Orlando.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but you can't get out there and you want to try a teppanyaki and you've never had it.
Or if you've got the dining plan, it's a great use
absolutely.
one credit.
And that was how we've done it. We've done it a couple of times on the dining plan, and both times we've been sat with people who've been absolutely amazing company. The first time was a family from New York, and then the second time we were with a family from Wales who were staying at the same hotel. We were at the beach club, and we were staying at the yacht club. They were staying at the beach club, and by the time we'd finished the meal, we were going into Magic Kingdom for late night opening in Magic Kingdom. We ended up on the same bus and we went and enjoyed the rest of the evening. It's just one of them things that you could never script it. It was just
how it worked out.
You were sat dining together, and then you suddenly, with two families sort of colliding. It suddenly, let's go. Never saw them again after that night, but we had a great night.
Yeah. There's also, that used to be Tokyo Dining. It's now Shikisai. I haven't eaten there. I don't know if anyone else has eaten there, which is upstairs at the front of that pavilion there. And that's got quite a lot of sushi, sashimi. I think it's got quite a unique menu if people are into their Japanese food. And at the front of that building, you can go up the stairs and then just walk around the balcony, and that's quite a good spot for watching the fireworks.
It is indeed. Yeah.
So that's a nice thing. And then downstairs, around the back of Mitsukoshi, there's Takumite, which is a whole other level of dining in terms of cost and experience. Not somewhere that I would choose to go. Definitely not, not up my street.
It's the cost bit that gets me each and every time.
The eel and the pork fat and the
can't justify that.
Not my food, but I know people who go and absolutely rave about it. So if you're into your traditional Japanese meal, then that might not your yo sushi or your Wagamamas.
Oh, wow.
Not like that. It's very much more traditional. But I do know people that absolutely adore it there and would happily pay the extortionate amount of money to go there every time. So
it's not for me, that one.
Not me.
It's not for me because it doesn't look like a child could eat it. So there's no chicken nuggets on that menu.
No, there is not. John, when you're there with your Joe, does he like watching the Matsuritsu drummers? Or is it not his thing?
it is his. It's obviously it is always his thing because it's anything that involves drumming. He will sit and watch and sort of take apart, but it's different, and it's a completely. I don't know. It's just a different vibe. I get quite intrigued by it because actually the physicality involved in actually playing those drums is quite something else. And in that heat,
Yeah.
you do look upon the performers, and you're just thinking, how on earth do you manage to do that and stay upright by the time of it? So, I actually, you know, you started and you say it's your favourite pavilion. It's only by talking about it and you become so aware of just how much is within such what appears to be such a small area.
Yeah.
And yet they managed to get the cultural side across, I think, in a very, very special way. And I think that for me is where it becomes all encompassing, and you really do get that whole feel that this is one really special part of EPCOT, and you know, and apart from the fact that you can take some cracking photos of the fireworks from the balcony outside Tepanido as well, which also include you get the Tory Gate, and you get the spaceship Earth, and you get the fireworks all in the one shot. It is quite a place, and anyone listening to this who hasn't been, just ignore what we've been talking about because I'd like to keep it to ourselves.
It never feels hugely busy in Japan Pavilion. I think it's the size of the courtyard and the space at the front of the pavilion. It doesn't actually have, unlike where we're heading next. So carrying on around the path, and we get to Morocco. So Morocco Pavilion, probably underrated, I would say, in terms of the spread of the World Showcase pavilions. Sadly, it feels like it needs a bit of TLC at the moment. If there's a lot of walls, or there was a lot there.
Yeah. They've been redoing all the mosaics, though, Claire. And that for me was, and I know probably they had to do it for health and safety, this, that, and the other, but they took away the original proper Moroccan mosaics and they've replaced it with basically something you'd go to your local hardware store and pick up some wall tiles, and you could do that. And I'm just you've just lost. No, it doesn't. I feel really sorry for that because it's one pavilion. It takes a lot of finding to actually get into the actual pavilion, deeper into the pavilion, and I actually feel it's one that a lot of people will just because as you're on that World Showcase loop, there's kind of a lot going on within that space that is Morocco, and you don't feel as if there is anything behind, and there is. But to go and explore, because actually, don't be British and don't be sort of, we can't go in there. Just going in everywhere, because actually it's fabulous. And if you go right towards the middle of the pavilion, there's like a little bar area that sells the most beautiful white sangria. The white sangria on this car is
really?
It's at the back where the brass bazaar used to be.
Yeah.
So you know
not the one at the front.
No.
There's a rim.
Back.
Oh, Robin,
and there's little table and chairs there. And
I've gone to the table and chairs and sat down and everything, but I've never bought anything from back there.
Yeah.
Oh,
they have mint lemonade, which is lovely. Ooh.
Do they do the pomegranate slushy, the citrus and pomegranate slushy at the back? They do. I know they do it at the front.
Oh,
don't know. Have not checked.
Need to check that out.
In terms of the pavilion, I think the first thing you come across often is the band playing. So what are they called now? Because they've had multiple different bands. Atlas Fusion, I think it is, with the belly dancer.
Yeah. And the two types of gentlemen watching.
Well, that's also there's often some drunk men trying to dance along, and it's really awkward. By the time they've got round as far as Morocco, they've clearly had to.
Really? Oh no, that is mortifying.
Have you not seen it, John? Oh
no. Yeah. There's two types. There's ones that are trying to join in and like leering a bit, and it's a bit like lechy and gross. Or there's the guys that don't know where to look because they don't want to look. It's
I'll,
like
I'll put
don't
myself. I'll put
stare at
myself
the
in that.
sun.
I'll put myself in that category. There we go.
Oh,
I
but
wouldn't care.
the whole pavilion, I think, is really stunning. It's obviously made
Yeah.
from like terracotta, and it was a pavilion where the government were involved in the building. The Moroccan government helped design it and to build it, and actually they sent over traditional craftsmen to do all the tiling, to do all the mosaics and everything. So
Yeah.
it really
It's
is
even worse that they've not
the real deal.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the government stopped paying for it, and then they changed it.
Oh.
But when you look at the architecture that they've built, they've got a minaret there that's obviously it isn't attached to a mosque. There isn't a mosque in the middle of EPCOT, but it looks like it should be a mosque.
Yeah.
And then they've got the great big gate that sort of leads you from the front to the back of the pavilion. That's a replica gate that is well represented in terms of the shape and all of the things.
It's,
and all
I
the
think it's
tiling.
the shape. It's the shape of some of these
Mm,
the doorways and the gates,
this is
things
it.
like that as well. And again, is it because we're British? We don't feel as if we can just walk into these places because, again, like it or not, it does look very much like a mosque and like a place that we shouldn't maybe venture in there because actually we need to be a little bit more respectful. But
Maybe.
the one thing that really hits me about it, and this is once you've located where the Morocco Pavilion is, walk round the whole of the World Showcase again. I'm adding to your steps, but look at the Morocco Pavilion, but look at the shape of Tower of Terror that actually is at the very back of the Moroccan Pavilion. It's been painted so that the backside of the of Tower of Terror fits in with the Morocco Pavilion, but the actual shape of it blends in and actually fits into the whole theme
It's really
of that
clever.
Moroccan Pavilion. It is one of the little hidden bits of Imagineering that you probably would never see unless somebody actually points it out to you. But it's deliberate and it actually is meant to be as it is, and to add that kind of depth to the viewpoint of the Moroccan Pavilion, and exceptionally clever.
I mean, Sightline Imagineering is a whole other show in itself as well. I just think it's incredible how they do it and blend stuff together, and you're like, wow. Unless someone points it out, and then when you've seen it, it's like, oh, now I've seen it. I love how clever that is when they make things appear and disappear and blend away, but blend in, even though it's hidden in plain sight moment. So maybe that's one to add to the list. John, get a post-it note, add it to the list.
Post-it notes out. That's it.
Sightline Imagineering is going to be a show.
Oh yeah, that's it.
That'd be a good one.
I'll get it written down.
I think my favourite area. Oh, I've got two favourite areas of Morocco Pavilion. First is the Fez House, which it's one of those bits that you think maybe I shouldn't go in, but you go inside. It's a square room with open ceiling, and it almost looks like it's got a balcony upstairs, but it's got tiled walls all the way around. Nothing in the middle. It's got a fountain, like a small fountain at one end. It is the coolest place, and I could just want to hang out in there. And quite often I'll just go and stand there for 10, 15 minutes and just have a moment of calm. It is the most beautiful place to chill.
They have got benches, a couple of benches in there as well. So that's always quite nice. If you can.
Yeah. And I watch people walk in and go, oh, there's nothing here, and walking out again. I'm like, no, you've missed the point. You're meant to just come in and have whether it's a moment of reflection or thought or whatever it needs to be. It's so lovely.
Yeah.
The other bit I like is this sounds really dodgy. I like all the back streets and how they all there's one little hidden pathway that goes between the back of the Tangerine Cafe and the back of the bazaar, the front of the bazaar. And it's just like a little, almost like a Z-shaped thing. There's nothing in it, but you could go in one end and pop out the other end and you're in a different place. I love all that stuff. And when it used to have all the bazaar shops in it, it felt really enclosed and busy. It's not quite so like that anymore, but I do love all those little backstreet areas, and you feel like you're Aladdin leaping through the bazaar at the beginning. And I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's worth pointing out as well, Claire. And I think, we're now in a position where, unfortunately, the sponsorship by the Moroccan government, that only ended in October 2020, which, given timing with lockdowns and park closures, etc., possibly wasn't the best of times.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of been left a little bit because I might be speaking out of turn, but we'd found that the dining, the and Spice Road table was absolutely exquisite, but Disney have taken that back in house, and it's now not quite as on point as it was. And it would be quite a good place to go back and revisit to see if we actually would have the same meal. That we had the most incredible night there. And again, one of those places that you don't expect to have an incredible meal. We came out, but that was 2018, 2019. And I would hope that it would certainly meet that standard, but I don't think it does, unfortunately.
No.
And it's kind of taken the heart out of the pavilion. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I think that's
would
probably
agree.
the way to describe it. You know,
Tangerine Cafe's been scaled back their food. Restaurant Marrakesh just never came back after the pandemic. It does feel a little forgotten, which is a shame because I think it is stunningly beautiful. I really think so many people just walk past, and I can understand why they do. But if you actually go into the pavilion, it's beautiful, really beautiful.
I guess people don't necessarily want to go and just look at what they would consider to be nothing. For me, just having that, it's an experience rather than a thing. So, you know, that fountain at the front of the pavilion, you can have some amazing photos there, especially in the evening. You can sit on the edge, get all of you together as a family group or, you know, group of friends or whatever. And I think it's one of those buildings where the different times of the day and the different lighting will make a difference to your photos, and you can get some really dusk and sunset. There's a couple of places around World Showcase where the lighting sort of at dusk is incredible, and actually the minaret bit gets lit up beautifully in the evening. I hadn't ever noticed it. Someone pointed it out to me, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And now I take photos there quite a lot, and it's beautiful. People don't look up; they just look straight ahead at the next place for a drink, and I think that does it a disservice a little bit.
Yeah, I would also point out, Claire, it's weird because my neighbour has recently been to Marrakesh, and she's lovely, absolutely lovely woman. And so she showed me these photographs and she's travelled extensively throughout the whole world. And she's just look at the beauty of this. And I'm like, hang on a minute, this looks exactly like the Morocco Pavilion, but I can't tell you that, because actually that would be, and that's how on point the actual design of it originally was. And you're thinking, it just needs that bit of love and that little bit of maybe that little bit of authenticity to come back again would really be superb. And I really hope that someone at Disney can be responsible for that. I'll add it to the long list of things that people at Disney need to be responsible for. But just check it out.
Yeah, there are a couple of hidden things I like. Is there's a little corner which has got the Oasis sweets and sips. It's like a window, basically. It's as you approach the pavilion from Japan. It's just there on the right hand side. It's literally the corner.
Yep.
And they do the most incredible pastries, like Moroccan pastry. They do baklava, but they also do this thing called an almond garimba, which is like an almond. It's almost like a heavy almond flour dome. It looks a bit like a zebra dome, but it's made from almond flour. And if you like almond flavored things, it's like cracked on the top, a little bit of icing sugar. And they do these like crescent shaped biscuits. Those things are $3 each, or you can get a box of 4 for like $10 or something. And they're incredible. I bring them home with me. So I will go to EPCOT on my last day always. I'll watch Voices of Liberty and then grab a box of 4 of those. If they make it to the plane, we've done well. They're so delicious. I bought some last time I was there and shared them with Zach Brown, and he was like, I have never had these, and now I have to buy them every time I'm here. They're so good.
In a
I've
way,
only ever had drinks.
Yeah. I'm the same, Robin.
I had a Bombay Sapphire drink from there. I think I had the gin spiked mint tea or something.
Yeah, they're definitely doing minty something.
Oh, it was awful. I would not try that again.
Oh.
And I liked it.
I don't. Well, see, I like gin, but I don't like mint, so it would be wasted on me.
I think it was a frozen frozen mint
Yeah.
tea.
Yeah, they've
Bombay.
got a few different frozen things.
No. That was a hard no. It went
Oh.
really no.
Oh,
It
no.
it was painful.
Oh
It
dear.
wasn't cheap.
I think
Yeah.
No,
Morocco's
not-
one, I think Morocco's
No.
one of the pavilions we've spent the least amount of time in, actually. I know we
I think
haven't brought
probably
any of the food and drink
Becca-
there.
But I think it is for a lot of people, Becca. And I think
I
that's,
think that's true.
you know, I was interested to listen to what Claire just said about Zach Brown. If he'd never come across a little baked treats, and he's been within EPCOT probably
Hundreds, thousands of times.
umpteen times more than us, and yet he doesn't come across that. That's how much people basically, and it's no disrespect to anybody. It's the way it actually happens within World Showcase, and I think it's worth pointing out that actually it was the first expansion pavilion that was actually added to the World Showcase opened. So it didn't open until it was 84, which is like 2 years after the original EPCOT opened. So again, that whole sort of narrow opening, which you sometimes miss along the way, sort of was that because it was kind of squeezed in where it exists now. And I don't know, it's a really weird one, and I can see why loads of people, will just sort of drift on
Keep
past
walking.
because of the countries that are either side as well.
Yeah. They do have a Princess Jasmine meet and greet in the back by Restaurant Marrakesh, which is usually fairly quiet.
I was about to say exactly that. Yeah.
I think I'm going to
don't
make a conscious effort to go there next time we go.
But the last time I was queuing up to meet Jasmine, Aladdin was there as well.
Yeah.
And we must have waited an hour.
Really? Oh, dear me.
Yeah, it was a long wait. And I was like, I'm not doing this again.
As well, probably.
That's a bit
Actually,
keen.
no, it was indoors. They were meeting indoors somewhere. Kind of not right down the back, but
it does get a little bit airless and a bit warm at the very back of that pavilion as well.
It does.
So
but it's very quiet as well. So if you overstimulated and you just need a bit of quiet, it's quite nice to walk back there and just take a moment, sit down for a little while. I've usually got a couple of tables and chairs down there.
Yeah, it does happen.
I'm going to get you and Ben. You and Ben are going to give us a bit of feedback on a show in the autumn as to what you actually thought of it, because actually I think it's interesting to see what other people's perceptions are, and again, I think we started this whole thing off about going down the line that a lot of people don't always go into the pavilions around World Showcase, which then led us into talking about each of the pavilions. But I actually believe this is actually possibly the pavilion that just gets missed. And is it, for that, I can't actually give the answer. Perhaps it hasn't got the quality of either a restaurant at the very back of the pavilion or that lure to get people off World
nothing
Showcase.
to bring you in.
And then, I think so. Go and have a white wine sangria in the back of the pavilion. You'll love it.
That'll get me in. That'll be a reason to go. We've wandered around it before, and it is a gorgeous pavilion. It's just been like pre-COVID, I think, would have been the last time we had a proper look round.
Okay. I mean, I think it's always worth a visit. I would say just dropping in. The restrooms at Morocco, they're not great. Keep walking. There's better to come.
There is. Or walk back to America.
Yeah, walk back, because the ones in the next pavilion aren't that great either.
No, the one after that are refurbed though, and they're great. So I am going to suggest that we take a pause on our tour. There are 3 countries left. 2 of them are quite a lot to talk about. So otherwise this podcast is going to be forever long. We have had so much fun to pick through all the details of the countries and pavilions, but I know that no one wants to listen to a 3-hour podcast. So we will stop at the point of Morocco, and the next time we meet, we will be heading towards La France, all the French things that we can think about. And hopefully that will be the lot. We'll do France, the UK and Canada in the next podcast.
Sounds great.
I am
Then we'll
really
go.
looking.
Then we'll go round again and rank all the toilets in each
Totally will.
pavilion.
You know what? Totally against me. Yeah, the toilet show is coming up. We're going to have to do it. I just love this, and you know what? I was sort of planning what I would do in terms of listening back to these, because I haven't listened to any of them, and I think I might just listen to them on the plane on the way over in August, so that when I get to Epcot, I'll be like all the things I've forgotten to look at last time I was there.
I want to be. I've said this on the past couple of shows like this. I want to actually be in Epcot and actually just put the earphones in. And I know it's kind of a bit antisocial, so it might well be a bit of time to myself, like, but just put the headphones in and just try and listen back to it, to just encourage myself to look in detail again at the the Imagineering is just amazing, and to actually have the opportunity to talk about it and actually make people realize that there is more to it, and maybe we invite Sammy back in. For a one-off podcast, just say, look what you missed the way back on podcast. Was it podcast number 3 or 4 or whatever it was?
Yeah. I mean, if you haven't listened to the parts 1 and 2 of this, they are recorded, and you can find them. They're released on the 1st of April and the 1st of May. So if you want to go back and listen to them, and while you're there, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because then you won't miss the last part when it comes out. So it'll be a 4-parter for 11 countries. You know what? I don't think that's too bad.
I think that's pretty good.
We've done them justice.
I think that's the important bit. We don't want to just scoot around and go, there's a restaurant here and then there's a ride. We needed to do it properly. So I'd rather spend more time talking about it and then take it over longer, further shows. So, but we do have loads of other content here at Great British Mickey Waffle, and it can all be found easily on our YouTube channel. With Great British Mickey Waffle, and we are live every Wednesday, usually to chat about a single topic and some news. It tends to be about an hour or
So,
hour and a bit. Fat hour, I think is the word. And if you've enjoyed this, go on.
When does it stop being an hour-ish and become an hour and a half?
No,
get John's on.
Now, I refute that, because actually there was a show I missed when I was seeing Bruce Springsteen, and you guys went longer without me.
We did. It depends on the topic. It depends on, and that's a good thing about the live show, is that we have friends in the chat who interact with us. And if you want to come and listen to the live show on a Wednesday night, we'd love to see you on YouTube, and you can have a chat with us, and you can share your opinions and your thoughts, and we absolutely love it. Those shows also come out as a podcast on a Friday, and you can still leave a comment and send us a message, even if you're listening as a backup on a later date. So we like to read all the comments, and it brings you as part of our show, and that's really important to us and our community. You can find all the things about Mickey Waffle at the Waffler's Arms, which is our online virtual pub, bring your own drinks. And that's at Facebook. You can find the Waffler's Arms, and we would love to see you there. And we share all sorts of things in there, including photos and polls, and people interact all the time. And we love it. So if you've enjoyed this show, please share it with your friends who are fans of Disney, and even if they're not, especially if they're heading to Walt Disney World anytime soon. If they're going to Epcot, tell them to have a listen to this and see all the things that they should look at. But thank you to the crew that have joined me today, so John and Robin and Becca. Thank you for your time.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
Brilliant. Really enjoyed
good
that.
fun.
And so we will see you soon in terms of the next show, 15th of the month. I have no idea what it's going to be, but hopefully the 1st of August will be the final bit of this particular series. So
it will be.
Let's hope so. We will carry on providing that content for you. So do subscribe everywhere, and you'll be able to hear it. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, adieu, and so it's been great fun tonight. I've really had a good time.
And have a great Independence Day if you're in America.
Yeah, go and celebrate.
Happy Treason Day.
Now my wheels in motion and my